Hello, my name is Steve, the Affordable Life Coach. If you're interested in a complimentary consultation, email me. It's in the description. And then the coaching sessions are ridiculously affordable afterwards. Life is always such a great teacher. And the most growth that we have is when we face adversity, challenges, when we get judged, criticized, ostracized. It's very fascinating. And in our cultural political climate that we see today, there are rules to be in the group. And all groups have certain declared and undeclared rules that you have to abide by. And when you don't abide by those rules, you get ostracized. One of my clients was just speaking when she was in school. Her group started to ostracize one of her friends that was part of the group, and that she was doing something that the group didn't like, and the group leaders didn't like. And so they started ostracizing, and my client said that didn't think that was right and still stayed friends with the person that was being ostracized. And then they started to ostracize her. And there's this dynamic that oftentimes isn't spoken of, that we need to obey rules and we comply because we're fearful of the ostracization. We're fearful of the judgment. Or we know something we believe or value or disagree with the group, and we don't share that opinion. That recently happened to me, and it's so illuminating to see how real working relationships, coaching relationships, friendships, familial relationships are, and how deep and how much depth and how much roots they have based on when you veer from what their expectation or what the group rules are set upon you. And when you diverge from that or take a different path, and suddenly someone that you've known a long time doesn't want anything to do with you, or judges you, or criticizes you, or is hostile to you, or attacks your belief system, it really reveals the shallowness of a lot of our what we call friends, or what we call coworkers, or even working relationships. And it amazes me how we can't allow diversity in thought, diversity in belief system, and we can't have open, honest communication. And in fact, they'll demand that we be open to them and their ideas and ideology or faith, but they're not open to ours, and in fact judge us for it when it's no longer in alignment with what they believe. And it just reveals so much about the shallowness of so many relationships, and that people can walk away and turn their back on you, even though there's a history there, even though you've helped them. One of my clients talked about one of his close friends. He helped him build stuff in his house, or just, he did, I forgot exactly what it was, but like he helped him install a fence or something like that, did a lot of work for him and was always there for him. And the moment he needed something done, the friend said, "Oh, I'm not available." And we never realize how solid and how secure our relationships are until adversity comes in, or until we step outside of what their predefined expectations are upon us. And once that happens, you see a person's true character. And it can, sometimes it could be shocking. I've had, it occasionally happens where I have had clients I've been working with for a long time and have helped them tremendously with their life and self-development, and just helped guide them. And together we've created a much better life for them and given them guidance and poured my heart and soul into being there for them and supporting them. And then we have one disagreement, or because I'm very honest in my coaching sessions, I say something honest about them, and their defenses go up, or they get angry, or they get upset, or our belief systems diverge, and then they just shut you down and close the door and disconnect. And I'm talking not even the point where they have the courtesy to say, hey, let's discuss it. We have a different opinion. I want to get your perspective. I want you to hear my perspective. And let's see if we could talk and work through this. Again, it's thankfully, it's happened only occasionally. But man, some people can cut off friendships and relationships at the drop of a hat. And it's so telling about their character and their inability to have a sense of loyalty and have a sense of commitment to trying to work things out. And I'm thinking this has happened primarily with, like, in the recent years, two clients in particular that I'm thinking of. And at first I was shocked, and I was hurt. It stung, because, like, oh my gosh, this is why you're going to cut me off? It seemed very shallow and superficial, and I'm willing to talk about it and work through it. And we don't have to see eye to eye. You might disagree with what I believe, or you might, in the other case, you might not like the truth that I'm telling you, but I'm telling you out of a place of love and a place of caring. And the reaction is of them. It's actually happened. It's in the probably in the past 5 years. It's happened 3 clients in particular that I'm thinking of, and maybe less than once a year. So which is a really nice thing. But the thing I've learned about this, at first I was angry and, like, upset and disappointed that I was so there for them. One client, he was going through some of the most difficult times, and it was in the process of getting married, and there was some turmoil, and there was some challenges that he was having, and I was there supporting him. You know, he'd send me email, Steve, I'm really struggling. Can you call? Can you do an urgent session to help me get through it? And I was always try to squeeze him in and support him and be there for him. And then I got an email, just completely, I don't want any more. I don't want to have any more coaching. I don't want any more. I don't want to talk anymore, and just completely cut me off. And I didn't even know, what was happening in his future, what was happening with his marriage plans. It was just shocking to me. And eventually, and I said, hey, can we just discuss it? Can we just have one more session and let's discuss it? Because it was such a dramatic swing in what we had been, just in our relationship, and what he had been through, and how I was always there for him. And so I'm speaking personally. This happens. I'm talking particularly about coaching, but this also happens in our friendship, in our familial relationships, and it's can sour you, and it can disappoint you, and it can make you upset, and it hurt me, and it shocked me, and it made me angry. And it was something I really had to process, because the way I try to live my life, or the way I don't always succeed, but the way I do live my life, is I take responsibility for my reactions. I don't want to be in a place where I'm giving my power away and blaming other people for how they handle situations, and they did this and that's why I'm upset. And that's just fomented in our culture, where it's become a disease. Everybody else is to blame but ourselves. And that's the way I coach. That's not the way I coach. The way I coach is to empower people and say, it's not them. You're the problem and you're the solution. And so this recently happened with another client. And again, this is the third client in a 5-year period. So I'm getting better at it. And because that's what I want to do, is I want to improve and grow and evolve at how I respond to somebody that I've been there and supported and suddenly cuts off the communication without even trying to talk or work through things. And one of the things is, to me, cowardly, is to do it through email. And in the 3 clients, they did it through email that I'm speaking of. And I have no problem. Like, hey, let's just talk it. You don't want coaching anymore? No problem. But let's at least talk through it. And you're upset with me, or you have a strong difference of opinion, let's just at least talk through it. Don't send me an email. And this is just not through coaching. This is through anything. These types of things should not be done through email, especially when there's a history there and there's a loyalty, at least on one person's end there. It should be done through a minimum phone call or a face-to-face chat. And when it recently happened to me, and I was like, I've grown from it, and I've tried my best to put myself in his shoes, understand his point of view, and not hold anger or resentment or bitterness towards this person, and just say, okay, I don't know what's going on with them. And oftentimes this is not even about me. It's about something has triggered their pain body. But if it is about me, let's talk through it. And I don't want to hold anger and bitterness towards people. I want to try to empathize and understand where they're coming from and not personalize it. Mike Tyson, he was being interviewed by Tucker Carlson, and one of the things Tucker Carlson was so impressed by Mike Tyson when I didn't see the interview, I just heard Tucker Carlson's version of it. He asked Mike Tyson, doesn't it upset you when people speak badly about you, or they judge you, or they criticize you, or they say negative things about you? And Mike Tyson said, no. And he asked, why? He says, because I'm nobody. I'm nobody. I don't see myself as an elevated status. And that's where my path has taken me, is to realizing that I don't want to be entrapped by my ego and be enslaved to my ego and be offended because someone hurt my ego. So much of the negativity, the fighting, the chaos, the emotional, reactive, destructive behaviors is egoically driven. And not to take things personally. I know it's easier said than done. And to reflect upon things in a way that is going to help you to grow, help me to grow, and maybe even help the other person. But just holding anger in my heart or judgment in my heart doesn't serve me, and it doesn't serve them. When they were crucifying Jesus on the cross, he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they are doing. And that's the approach that I strive for, and that's the approach in which I coach clients, is to take ownership and not to blame and to be victimized by other people's insensitive behavior or just illogical behavior, unpredictable behavior, whatever you want to call it. And so walking with that mindset in life, it liberates us. It liberates me because I'm nobody. I don't see myself like as I grow spiritually, as I evolve, as I get older and wiser, I'm so much less attached to my ego. And that's what frees me. And I don't even, because it's even a trap there. Oh, well, look at me. I'm not attached to my ego. I'm not even talking from that space. It's just like, I don't want to be pulled around like a dog on a leash based on my ego and based on my expectations. This person wronged me. People are going to do what they do. All I can control is how I respond to that. And I have clients that are in relationships, or it comes up, they have friends or they have partners that cut people off. And they cut people off without trying to work things out, and cut people off with very easily solvable solutions. Now, if somebody's toxic and someone's just a negative influence in your life and always is putting you down, or is always trying to fight with you, or is holding you back, or whatever it is, like someone has to be really toxic, like a narcissistic type of personality, or just a real selfish person. Okay, then it's understandable. But I think we owe it to people that we've developed a relationship to have the decency to talk to them face to face and really put our efforts and try to see things from their perspective, and have an open mind and try to work through differences. And maybe you're a person that cuts other people off, and you're only robbing yourself of a valuable relationship because there's a history there. And your ego can be blinding you to all the positive things that they bring, even if what they've done upsets you. But there's just so much suppressed anger, because that's where I really think it comes from, is suppressed anger that can lash out and cut people off. And we see it today. If you don't believe exactly whatever group believes, and you don't speak the exact lingo and say all the right things, they're going to cancel you. They're going to cut you off. They're going to ostracize you. You could be part of the in group 1 week, and then you could say something like J.K. Rowling said, and then you're completely cut off and ostracized. There's no nuance. It's like all or nothing. Either you meet all my demands or you're out. And it's such a toxic way in which to live our lives. And it crushes the soul. It crushes your soul because you're holding resentment and anger and not having the decency to talk to the person and accept differences. And it's hurtful to the people that you're doing this to. And it's such a valuable lesson because it really shows a person's true character when they can cut you off so quickly. And a lot of these people in these groups, whether it's a work group, whether it's a social group, a political group, they're not loyal to you as a person. They're loyal to your ideology and believing exactly like they do. And when you don't believe exactly like they do, they don't see you as a person. They see you as the enemy, or they see you as someone that is going against them, instead of, hey, I'm just bringing some diversity to the table. or to your belief system. And it's nice when you can know a relationship can stand friction or tension. And oftentimes we don't know that because of people pleasing, or because we don't share who we truly are with the other person because we're feared of being ostracized or judged. But it's so liberating and so freeing to know you can be in a relationship, and no matter what this person is going, I mean, as long as you're not harming them or doing something destructive to them, but this person's going to stand by your side. This person's got your back. This person has a sense of loyalty and commitment to the history that you've built together. And those are few and far between. And we really need to value those, because we don't know how good we have it and how good those people are until we see examples of how a lot of people behave. And they are just all or nothing, you know? Think how I think, believe what I believe, do what I do. Don't say anything that challenges my preconceived belief system, or I'm just going to ostracize you. But we don't want friends like that. We don't want relationships like that, because they're superficial and shallow. If you're interested in transforming your life in a positive way, much beyond the surface level, send me an email. It is in the description. And I would love to hear your thoughts. When has this happened to you? And what has been the result? And when have you done this to other people? Because it seems to be becoming more and more common as our society top down gets more and more divided. It's like our tolerance level for we promote superficial diversity, but not diversity of thought. That is something is just, there's a whole set of rules and regulations that you have to abide by to be in a group, or even to be in relationships. And it's a real sad testimony to how we don't see each other as human beings. We see each other as either you're for us or you're against us. And that's frightening to me, but I focus on all the good relationships that have stood the test of time, that has stood diversity of thought. And I'm only speaking about, look, I've had heaps and tons of clients, over the past, my whole coaching career. And I'm focusing on these 3 examples over the past 5 years, but I want to give a thankful gratitude and appreciation for all my coaching relationships and even my personal relationships that have stood the test of time, and that they have been able to handle some diversity of thought and being able to hear the truth and be able to give the truth back to me, because that's really important. And that doesn't come when you cut someone off. It's just cold-hearted. And to do it over email, please. Some of my clients will say they break up with someone, or they're dating someone, and they'll tell them they don't want to date them anymore through email or through a text message, or they'll just ghost them. I mean, come on. You owe it to the person. At least talk to them when you're going to do something like that. I'm of the firm belief, like serious discussions, and you could tell me if you disagree with me in the comments, serious discussions are email and text messages is not the platform for something that's serious. It's for lighter, fair type of conversation. Hey, I'm going to meet you at this time. Let's get together. Or how have you been? But when you're talking about something heavier and deeper, and especially when there's a history there, email is just the cowardly way to do it. Talk to the person and let them know. And sometimes it's very valuable feedback. If you let them know, hey, I don't want to see you because and you're talking to them, and you can have a discussion and work things through. So many times, just a good open conversation can heal wounds and can heal friction or differences. And it's just email and text messages is not the format for that. Maybe I'm old school, but I've seen the results and the difference between talking to someone face to face or on video, or if that's not available, then by audio. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. It's greatly appreciated. And I just want to end by thanking all my subscribers and viewers that have been patient with me, because my history in making videos has been hit or miss, has been inconsistent. I took a long break. I've been making, I don't know how long consistently I've been making videos now, but sometimes I miss weeks, sometimes I miss, more than a week. And everyone has been very kind and appreciative. And that means a lot to me, and loyal. And thanks for being patient with me, and look forward to the next video. And if you want to see more videos, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.